morning. All right, I got a few slides from Stephen here. I'll be pretty brief. This is this week's data from the wetlands that they're monitoring. So overall, we're seeing pretty good reductions in nitrate, phosphorus, and total suspended solids. Good news is the phosphorus coming through the streams is actually really, really low. So, you know, the wetlands are removing some, but there's not much there to begin with, so that's a good thing. Our nitrate levels remain quite high, so we're continuing to watch that, and we're glad that the wetlands are removing some of that as the water hits the lake. So, exciting stuff. As far as the toxin levels, that number there is last week. It's kind of bounced around quite a bit this year. We'll see how things progress over the rest of the season here. And then Stephen put together some numbers on rainfall. It's interesting this year with the drought that we had in the fall, how things kind of progressed. So we had very high levels of rain in March and April. However, that didn't translate into a whole lot of runoff just because the soils were so dry that it was soaking up all that rain, and it led to not a lot of water coming into the lake like we normally see. However, in May, that kind of shifted to where we did receive about normal rain in May, and it translated into normal runoff. So I feel like our soils have kind of maybe hit that spot where we're not in a drought condition anymore. So we'll see how the rainfalls continue to progress over the year. Project-wise, this photo was a drone photo taken of the Red Wing Nature Preserve in May, middle of May. The vegetation's still coming on, but we finished everything up as far as construction goes at the site, and we were kind of waiting to see what the rain did this weekend. We might turn the pump on for a few days next week and just see how it operates and kind of troubleshoot anything that needs to be done. And eventually we'll get that grass growing and be able to cut a path through there. And then if our Eagle Scout there is able to complete that bridge, this will be a nice addition to the existing Red Wing trail. At the Burntwood Langenkamp Wetland Conservation Area, we are going to be adding a solar pump. So the solar panels and the pump was delivered last week, and we awarded the installation of that project to VTF Excavation. I haven't gotten a schedule, but this is something new. They've used these solar pumps in Ottawa County for drainage near Lake Erie. We've never put one in before, but we're going to see how it works, and it'll give us the ability to pump another 500,000 or so gallons per day into the site. So hopefully that happens, I'm guessing probably the fall, if I had to guess, as far as the contractor's schedule goes. Many of you may have seen some of the improvements we made at Prairie Creek. We expanded that settling pond into one big pond, which is 10 foot deep now instead of, I think it was about 3 to 6 foot deep, depending on the location. So that will give us more settling capacity, and it gives us more volume as well. We did get that seeded around there just this past week. And then we have one more item. We're adding an observation tower to the back end of the site where the elevation is a little higher, where we've placed spoil. That'll be a nice observation platform for people to use, and a walking path up to it. So that has yet to happen. Hopefully in the next 2 months, we'll see that go in. The other project happening this year should be happening soon. Shin Brothers were awarded a project to add an additional lift station at our Beaver Creek wetland. So again, we'll be able to pump another 500,000 gallons per day, doubling the capacity at that wetland. It has the capacity to treat more water, so we're going to try to do just that. And then just briefly mentioned, I'm on the committee for the upcoming manure science review being hosted in Mercer County on July 22nd at Homan Inc. So there's some exciting things with manure technologies that we're bringing to this event in July. So short and sweet, any questions? Yes, sir.
The nitrogen levels up, do you think that's because of the manure spreading was done earlier, or is that because of nitrogen combined with corn, or?
So this is just my theory. We really don't know. My theory is because of the drought conditions we had in the fall, a lot of the nitrogen that was applied, whether it was manure-based or commercial fertilizer-based, never really got taken up because you need water to move the nutrients to the plant. And I think as the soils got re-wetted this spring is where we're seeing all that come off. I don't think it's really, if it was truly manure-based, we would see a higher phosphorus number. So I do think it's somewhat commercial fertilizer-based. So we're in discussions about trying a program. We've got a grant we're working on with Ohio EPA to maybe look at some different nitrogen management tactics with producers in the watershed. So I'm hopeful that maybe we can start some better education on nitrogen management and kind of go from there. Any other questions? All right, thank you.